Y'all know what it is. Jay Williams, Let's Live Life, and we're back. When being sheisty goes wrong in prison, thinking you're going to get over on people, thinking you got all the sense, or you want to rip somebody off. Huh. Yeah, okay. Y'all know I done seen it, so let's relive it. Now, in jail, prison, detention centers, halfway houses, rehabs, all these different places, you're gonna deal with grimy people. You're gonna deal with sheisty people, shady people, people doing everything from stealing, might be trying to steal your PIN number so they can use the phone on your dime. They might steal your mail so they can write your girl, or, try to climb up in that when you're not paying attention. You got so many things that happen with dudes that it's unbelievable. Now, you got to remember, like I've told you, everybody in there ain't a killer. A lot of dudes in there came in with that dope fiend mentality. They survived on the streets, had been on the streets for a long time, was used to robbing and stealing, getting how they live. And if you think that when they get to prison or jail, it's going to be any different, you're wrong. Now, I was wrong about a guy one time throughout my whole bid. And that was partially my fault and partially because of the reputation he had built for himself. I'm in the jail awaiting to be sent to prison. And I get this cellmate. And dude had been in the pod for a while. He was probably having problems with his cellmate. And I didn't have one at the time, so they moved him up in the cell with me. He was having problems with his cellmate because he was stealing his cellmate's canteen when he wasn't paying attention. He was going in this man's box, getting shots of coffee, eating his Snickers bars, going in his bags of chips. He was just a little gremlin when the dude wasn't looking right. Dude was noticing his stuff come up missing. Seen him going to the trash one day to throw something away. Followed him to the trash, and it was a bag of chips with several candy wrappers in it. So old boy has been in the cell stealing his stuff. Now they want to stick the thief in the cell with me. Soon as he comes in the cell, no holding back, no waiting, no thinking about what to say. I'll let him know right from the gate. If you steal from me in here, homeboy, ain't gonna be no moving cells. I'm gonna beat your ass. Like, if you need something and I can help you and I got it, I will, but do not steal from me. I don't touch nobody's stuff. Don't touch my stuff. If you do, it's going down with fighting, no delay. It's fight on sight. Oh, that dude was tripping, man. I ain't steal nothing from him. I ain't steal nothing from him. I said, look, I don't know the situation. I know what everybody's saying. I'm telling you, you got a reputation as a thief. Steal from me, I'm gonna bust your ass, man. He's like, all right. Well, I've been going to the psych doctor. They had me on some of the nastiest medications they could put you on. I kept fighting, and they couldn't figure out how to keep me from fighting other than keeping me in the hole, and you can't do that. You got to let me out the hole at some point. So they sent me to the psych doctor. By the time I left the psych doctor, they got me on Elavil, Trazodone, Seroquel, and the worst of all of them, Thorazine. You don't know what Thorazine is, you need to Google it, watch the effects of it. So every night they would call a pill call, and this little cart would come in, and they would call names. We would lock down, and they would pop each cell that was on the chart that had somebody that needed to get their pills. Well, after I took my pills, about an hour and a half after that, it's around lockdown time, I would pass all the way out. I'd be done. I'd be a zombie. Wake up the next morning, room spinning. Like, if somebody didn't get me up, I could sleep for days. I started noticing little things missing. Cleaning the cell one day, and I find a Nutty Buddy wrapper underneath the bed. I'm looking at my stuff in my box, and I'm like, I didn't eat no Nutty Buddy. So I holler at dude, and I'm like, yo, you been in my box? He's like, Jay, I ain't been in your box, man. I'm like, you a liar. I found the Nutty Buddy wrapper underneath the bed, man. I didn't put it there. I would know. He was like, Jay, you be waking up in the middle of the night, eating shit, man. I don't know if you know or not. You will wake up in the middle of the night, reach over to your box, grab something, eat it, and go right back to sleep. I'm like, bullshit, how you gonna tell me I'm eating stuff like I'm stupid and I can't remember what I do in the middle of the night? You got me messed up, right? Jay's copping dudes, look, man, I swear to you, man, I swear to you, I ain't touching none of your stuff. I swear to God, I ain't touching none of your stuff. I said, okay, I'm gonna keep a track of my shit. You know what I mean? If I feel like this shit happens again, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I dropped it. He's like, copping deuces hard. But if this shit happens again, I'm gonna beat your ass, man. Straight what it is, right? A couple days goes by. I wake up next morning. I'm missing another Nutty Buddy. You know, the Nutty Buddy bars. And the rapper's right there beside my bed. I said, oh, this dude thinks he's funny, right? So this dude sleeps on his bunk. I snatch him up by his shirt, slam him against the wall. And he's like, don't hit me, don't hit me. I ain't do nothing, You crazy. Like still copping deuces, right? So I put hands on him a couple times, slap him, punch him up, body shot him, and tell him, get your shit and get the fuck out of my cell. Get out of here. You're a thief, you know what I mean? You get out of here, I'll throw your shit out the cell. I'll throw that shit over the rail, right? I was on the top tier. So dude, we call it a swish roll. Dude puts everything he owns in the middle of the mat and rolls it up like a swish roll. Puts it underneath his arm and leaves out and goes to the guards and tells them, y'all need to put me in another cell or get me out this pod, put me in a hole. What's going on? What just celly do to you? And I'm standing at the door watching. Got homeboys watching him. Homeboys walking, you know, close enough that they can just reach out and punch him in his face if he says my name. And dude is like, man, it ain't nothing, man. Just please move me, man, or move me out this pod, right? So they know there's issues going on in there. They know it's with me. They see the knots on dude's head, the red marks and stuff. But they're not going to do anything because he won't actually say who did it. So they take him and they move him to another pod. Tell me why that night I'm laying in bed, I took my medication, and I'm dead asleep, and I wake up choking. What you think I'm choking on? I'm choking on a piece of Nutty Buddy bar. I wake up and I've literally, like he said, been eating this stuff in my sleep. And I guess I'm so out of it on the Thorazine that I'm blacking out in the middle of the night, waking up hungry and eating these little snacks. I start eating the snack, I fall asleep, it falls on my throat, I start choking. I sit up, spit it out. I'm the only person in the cell, and laying right next to me is the Nutty Boy. I felt bad at first, but based on the fact that he was a thief, I didn't really like dude. We didn't do much talking when we was in the cell. We wasn't gonna kick it, we wasn't homeboys. But in the long run, I guess you could say I felt a little bad for what had happened. But even though he hadn't stole from me, he had stolen from other dudes, and it was validated. But yeah, man, the pills had me so gone that I didn't even remember eating, man. The only thing that woke me up to what was going on is when I choked. Shortly after I got to prison, I cut them pills out. That's not a place you can be walking around at nighttime like this, like a zombie. Shit's going on around you, people getting attacked, people fighting, and you're just standing there in a haze, like almost like there's a cloud around you and this isn't real. So I deaded that when I got to prison. Next one I got you on is a homeboy, man. I can't remember dude's name, black dude here from Richmond. And he worked the visiting room. And I've talked about him in the past. When somebody would get the pack brung in, he sat up there with a bunch of games. That was his job. On Saturdays and Sundays, he came to the visiting room. He sat there with the games. He had a little digital camera. If you and your family wanted to take a photo, y'all go pose together. You give him what's called a picture ticket. It's a little thing. It's got your name written on it. It says picture ticket. You take a picture. He logs it in the book. About a week later, they bring you 2 copies of the actual photo, right? When I first got there, they did the Polaroids, but they also had tape players. But over time, you know, technology advanced and they get to the little digital Polaroid camera, right? So if you got drugs brought in, you could have it. You could tell him, hey, let me get the Hungry Hippo game, or let me get Candyland, or let me get Monopoly. And he would give it to you. You go sit down with whoever you had visiting you. And if somebody had brought you something you need to get back, you would just open the game, put it in there, return the game to him, and he goes back without getting searched. They don't search him, they trust him. This is a job that you've got to know somebody or be trusted to have this job. What they don't know is that when he's not around them, he's not in their view, and they're not watching, he is always getting high. And he gets high on whatever. He will smoke weed, he's gonna snort some dope. Like that was his thing, was snorting heroin, right? So he's been bringing the pack back for the dope boys for a couple months now. And I had seen the packs. Some of these things, like I told you in the one store, would be big as a damn, look like a billy club. Some of these things would be this big around, but he would just tuck it in the front of his pants, pull his shirt out, and walk right past the guards, and they would never question him. All of us were getting searched. He comes to me one time and he says, I worked maintenance. He says, Jay, can you get me some black tape? Thinking, black tape? Hell, you need black tape for? But a lot of guys ask for stuff. They'd ask for solder, black tape, different little things, you know, cable splitters, cable cords for the TVs. So I told him, yeah, I can get you a roll of black tape. He's like, what you want for it? I was like, well, you want a whole roll or a piece of a roll? He's like, I need a whole roll, like a whole brand new roll of black electrical tape. I said, yeah, I got you. Just throw me $8 for it. Don't sound like a lot, but when you're doing stuff like that on the daily, that stuff adds up. I'll bring him back the black tape. I don't think nothing of it. The pack is, you know, continuing to come through the visitor room every weekend like clockwork. He's bringing back several packs for several dudes. And what I don't know, and nobody else knows, is that he is going inside these boys' packs before they get back from the visitor room. He's untaping them, taking stuff out, and there's no way for you to tell if anything's gone because you ain't got a scale. And he's taking big chunks of it and keeping it for himself, and then taking this black tape I gave him and wrapping it back up so it looks like it ain't been opened. Dudes in there aren't expecting you to have black tape to be able to re-tape their package up, right? He's in a cell one day and he had just come back from the visiting room, and what he's supposed to do when he comes back is take it up to dude's cell and give it to dude's cellie. That way he doesn't have any personal time with it. There's nowhere for him to duck off with it. They know that he can't, you know what I mean, go into it. Well, he comes back and he looks up and dude's cell door is shut. He don't see dude up in the cell, nothing, so he go ahead and he slides to his cell with his pack. What he doesn't know is dude is in the pod, but dude is in somebody else's cell, and it's just been mingling, walking around, kicking it with dudes, waiting for him to come back. He puts the pillow in the door. There's a slot in the door about the size of a pillow that's open. You can stick your arm out. The rest of the door is metal. He puts the pillow in the door as soon as he gets in the cell, and homeboy's cellmate sees the pillow in the door, and I guess knows, like, if he needed to use the bathroom, he'd have used it over in the visiting room. Why is he in that cell with that pillow in the door? He goes over to the door, and without saying anything, he pushes the pillow in. And here stands dude at the counter with the dope, with the weed, with the coke, with the pills, all laid out on the counter, and dude's package split wide open. Now at Greensville, you can go to the booth and tell them, hey, pop sell such and such, and they don't usually question it. If you got a dickhead guard, they'll be like, you don't live in that cell, I'm not opening that door. This woman in particular didn't really pay attention, hadn't been there a long time. She's more of a news CO. It's hot in the damn truck. So she pops the cell. There's no way for this dude to get this stuff wrapped back up fast enough. He's already been seen. There's going to be serious consequences for being a thief, being sheisty, being a snake. No sooner than the door comes open, old boy's back across the pod, and he's in the cell fucking this dude up, beating his ass. A couple more of his homeboys in front of his cell now. They started kicking him, reaching over, punching him. Then they take everything that's on the counter. Dude takes his shirt, folds his shirt out, scoops everything, puts it into his shirt, and goes on back to his cell. Everybody's got all the sense. You think you gonna go in this dude's pack and that you ain't gonna get caught in due time. Hey, I've told y'all, it always ends bad. So I've got one more for y'all before I jump out of here. It's Friday, payday. You know I gotta get this business taken care of. But I'm gonna give y'all, I was thinking about it, I'm gonna give y'all one more before we get out of here. And we'll call it a day, man. So there's a laundry job in the pod, and there's a washing machine and a dryer on the second floor. You got to go through this door, and it opens up into this area where there's a counselor's office, there's a little barber shop, and there's an area where you can do laundry. If you have that job, you have the means to a mean hustle. You can survive. That guy's job is not to wash people's clothes. His job is to wash people's clothes that pay him. Otherwise, your laundry gets sent with everybody else's laundry over to the main laundry, gets washed with the dirty mop heads, the panties that belong to these gorilla women from the other prison that get their laundry sent there. Ain't no telling what they're gonna wash your clothes with. They just throw the bags in there, and if the washing machine ain't full, these are big industrial washing machines, they just throw whatever else in there. It might be 20 dirty mop heads in there they throw with your clothes, right? So it's good to have a guy that does laundry. You can buy these little boxes of Tide on commissary. You take him a box of Tide. I had a contract for him to wash my clothes 3 times a week. It wasn't much. 3 pair of jeans, 3 shirts, like, 6 pair of boxers, 6 pair of socks, stuff like that. But with the laundryman also hustled because he had plenty of money. He had guys paying him whatever your contract price was. So he would buy up weed. He would buy up pills. He would buy up all types of different drugs when they hit the compound, wait until things got dry, and then he would resell his stuff. So it's one weekend, he's up there washing clothes, and one of the dudes is getting out the shower, and the showers are located right beside that door that you got to go through to go into the laundry area. The guy looks through the door and sees the laundryman standing on top of the washing machine, pushing the ceiling towel up and puts something in there. I didn't really like the laundry dude. He had a slick mouth on him. He'd been down 20 years. He's one of them dudes that spent all day, every day, pushing appeals, pushing paperwork, thinking that he was going to get out of prison. So I didn't like the dude. Didn't care much for him. And this dude comes back from the shower, and he sleeps 2 cells down from me. And I'm just walking laps with my homeboy in the pod. We're stopping, doing push-ups, going underneath the staircase, doing pull-ups on the stairs and stuff. And as I'm walking by, I hear a part of his conversation. Not being nosy, this dude's just talking too loud. And he's telling his cellie, yeah, man, I think he's hiding the pack above the washing machine in the ceiling. I'm gonna see if I can get up in there and steal that shit, right? Grimy, sheisty dudes. And I've told y'all, you know what I'm about to say. It always ends bad. Dude waits till that evening, and the shift changes, and tells the guard that's in the booth, hey, I need to get into the back, you know what I mean? Drop a request for him, talk to the counselor, whatever his excuse was. He got her to pop the door. Now it's nighttime. The laundryman's not back there. He usually only does this during the day, washing clothes. Now there's an elevator on the first floor that only the guards can use. It goes from the first, second, and third floor. He goes back there, rushes over to the washing machine real quick, jumps up on the washing machine, jackpot, finds dude's stuff. Dude's got a knife stashed up there. Dude's got his phone stashed up there. Dude's got weed. Dude's got pills. Dude's got, a whole assortment of different stuff wrapped up in paper and in napkins and cellophane hidden in the ceiling. Dude takes a knife, lays it down on top of the washer, grabs the phone, lays it down on top of the washer, reaches in, grabs the first pack, lays it down on top of the washer, reaches up to grab the second pack, and somebody goes, hey, what are you doing? Turns around and looks. The elevator door just opened, and a sergeant is standing there watching him. Sergeant come over, investigates, sees the shank laying there, sees the phone, calls for backup, puts him in handcuffs, has him standing there, and just like that, his thieving ass went to jail, went to the hole, got shipped up to Wallens Ridge, Red Onion, Sussex 1 somewhere, and caught street charges for the drugs and the cell phone that he just got caught. He went from trying to be sneaky, thinking he was going to come up, to getting charged with everything that belonged to that man. He's trying to tell the people, nah, this shit ain't mine, it ain't mine. Yo, I swear to God, it ain't mine. Shut your dumb ass up. We just caught you with all of it. Ain't no way to say it ain't yours. You gots to go. Meet, you're out of here. Crazy things you see and deal with. I tried to change the pace of today's story. They demonetized yesterday's video based on graphic content, is what they said. Not on the clips I put in, not the music. It had nothing to do with that. It was based on the content. So I guess they didn't like my opinion. But like I said, my opinion doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean it's right. It's just my opinion. If you argue with me, you feel this type of way, I won't argue with you, because that's your opinion. You're entitled to that. But anyways, I'm going to jump out of here. I hope y'all enjoyed today's stories. Hope y'all enjoyed this week, the live. Plenty more to come, man. I love you guys. Thank you all for supporting me, supporting the channel, standing behind me, and getting us to the point we're at. Without y'all, there is no me. These stories fall on deaf ears if nobody listens. I hope that in y'all listening, Someone will change the way they think. Someone will avoid the penitentiary or jail, or will stop doing what they're doing, because the penitentiary ain't no playground, and it ain't nothing like the brochure. But anyway, y'all know, man, these institutions, these jails, correctional facilities, detention centers, they're all just crazier worlds inside of this already crazy world we live in. And y'all know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to keep y'all entertained. Are you not entertained? And as always, this is Jay Williams. Let's live life. And to all my real ones, and there are some real ones watching, because y'all still watching me. Y'all know how we do, man. Salute.